What up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and we are here today, you guys, with a brand new review for the Real Housewives of New Jersey, you guys. This is season 14. This is episode number 8, and the episode was titled Trouble in Tulum, you guys. And before we go ahead and get into it, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel and you guys aren't subscribed yet, I need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and then having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know the routine. You can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and also turning on your post notifications, you guys. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let us go ahead and get into this episode of the Real Housewives of New Jersey, shall we? All right, you guys, my bad. I want to get to this first comment that I saw because it states with this episode how I felt. Danielle was activated last night. And was Danielle ever activated? And honestly, I don't even blame Danielle. I really, truly don't blame Danielle at all for being activated because Jennifer Aiden, she really, excuse me, y'all. Jennifer Aiden tried it last night. And if you guys like Jennifer or Teresa, then I'm going to say it right here, right now. This might not be, and ain't no might not. This is not going to be the video for you guys. Just to be honest with you, it's not the video for you if you like Jennifer or Teresa. Because I was not on Jennifer's side last night, and I thought Teresa was foolish, SHIT, when she sat there and said that she didn't see what happened. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. We are getting ahead of ourselves. But I guess we'll start the episode up because we didn't really have, because Melissa, we all know Melissa, Margaret, and Rachel, they did not go to the party. So we'll talk about Rachel and Melissa first, and then we'll get into, no. Let's go ahead and talk about Black Dolores real quick. As much as I like Dolores, Dolores plays herself, and she's playing herself when it comes to Paulie. That's how I feel. So we see as Dolores and Paulie, they were working out, right? So Dolores was talking about getting some surgery, and I was like, okay, y'all know how I feel about surgery. If it makes you feel good and if it makes you feel good and you're happy with the decisions that you make with your body, then I'm all here for it, right? But don't do things for the satisfaction of other people. That's how I feel when it comes to plastic surgery. So Polly had the audacity to sit there and say to Dolores that if she does have any kind of surgery, he's going to hit the road. Baby Dolores, you are a better person than I can ever be. Because I would have told Polly in that particular moment, well, take your fat ass on somewhere right now. Because you're not going to sit here and dictate and tell me so if I have any kind of surgery that makes me happy, you're going to walk out, sir, goodbye. You're not even divorced from your wife. You and your wife are still married, and it's been 10 to 14 years. Deuces, Polly. Dolores is a nicer person than I am. I would have told Polly to get the hell out of my face. Like, we ain't finna play that game. Like, that's not what we about to do. No, absolutely the hell not. But she didn't. I was like, girl, you should have read Polly his rights. The same way you gave it to Jackie last week, you should have gave it to Polly this week too. But okay, it is what it is. But you guys tell me your thoughts and your opinions about that scene with Dolores. I want Dolores just to stand up. Stand up, Dolores. Especially to that Ninja Turtle looking ass man. Now, I guess we'll go ahead and talk about Rachel real quick because it wasn't a whole lot with Rachel. So we saw Rachel and she had Margaret over to her crib, right? And so her daughter just had her surgery. So she, there are things that she's having to do with her daughter. But at the same time, Rachel is also having some issues with her arthritis, right? And so while they were talking about health, I guess Joe has some issues with his health because Margaret was talking about cancer, and I'd have to go to go see a doctor. They have to do a routine of tests, so they're just waiting for Joe's Joe's results to come back, right? So then in the interim, they talked about Jackie. I'm gonna get into Jackie a little later in this review because Jackie. I hope you watched last night's episode and I hope you realize what a fool you've been trying to be friends with Teresa and Jennifer. Everybody has been saying it for this entire season that you look foolish behind those two. And I'm gonna point it out in a little bit once we get to it, right? But Margaret is talking about what happened at Melissa's housewarming party when she sent the text message to Dolores, right? And Margaret is like she was just defending herself. Now, take it how you want to take it, right? Because people are saying, oh, Margaret held on to that for Mad Day. I don't necessarily think Margaret held on to that for Mad Day. What happened with that situation was Margaret overheard someone who was her friend talking shit about her, and she was like, "Oh, okay. So you gonna sit here and talk about me to Dolores, but you were just talking shit about Dolores in a text message, and so let me repay the favor and send a text message to Dolores." That's how I took it, right? Now, Rachel did say to Margaret that that was low, right? And you guys can tell me, do you agree with Rachel? Do you think it was low what Margaret did? For me personally, like I said, I can I can honestly see, yes, that it could be a little low. Like I said, people are saying that it looked like Mad Day. I disagree about Mad Day, but it is. I guess I can say it is a little bit low because like it's like, damn, that was your friend. She was venting to you, but like I said, in the same breath, Jackie was over there with Dolores talking shit about Margaret, saying that Margaret talks about Dolores and Paulie. And so Dolores did tell Polly that, and you guys can let me know in the comments and in the live chat where you guys stand. Do you guys believe that Margaret was talking, cash money ish about Dolores and Polly, or do you not believe it? Leave it down in the comment section, guys. And we'll go on ahead and move over to Melissa, you guys. So let's get Melissa on the screen. Now, with Melissa, we see her at Envy, right? So Melissa is letting us know that, with the traffic where she is now, business is booming. And I was like, you know what? If she says it's booming, then it's booming. I ain't got no other choice but to, believe what Melissa's saying, right? Melissa's also talking about doing a fashion show, and she's also there with Danielle, right? So they were talking about the gift that Teresa had sent to Joe. And so Danielle was like, well, she had did that with her brother. And Melissa's whole thing is she doesn't feel like there was anything real with that gift. And we all know it wasn't because Teresa in her interview keeps saying that, well, Louis told me to do it. Well, Louis told me to do it. So there was no real intent with Teresa and that gift. Teresa, like I said last week, with Teresa, since it came from Louis, I feel like Teresa did and Louis came up with this plan to make themselves look good on television because they knew that Joe was going to have a fit about that gift. So it makes Teresa look like, oh, well, his sister reached out to him and she's trying to make things right. But then, and even Teresa in her interview said that Joe is petty. So Teresa knew what she was doing. Arnico says, I'm beginning to not trust Marge more and more. Now, what I will say about Marge, excuse me, y'all. What I will say about Marge, I have always had a bit of a side eye for Marge since she first came on to New Jersey. Because I remember, now we all know how it is with Housewives. They're not necessarily friends with each other, but I remember when she came on with that nutcase Siggy Flicker. And I remember how that season played out with Dolores. I mean, not with Dolores, but with Siggy and with Margaret. That friendship ended, even if it was a TV friendship or a real friendship, it ended, right? Then I'm gonna bring somebody up who I really don't like bringing up too much. Um, what's her name? Oh God, Danielle. Danielle Staub, right? Danielle Staub and Margaret had become friends with each other, but then they fell out with each other, right? So I've always had a proverbial side eye for Marge, but I still like Marge nonetheless. But I've always had a side eye for Marge. Article also says Dolores is the most attractive housewife, in my opinion. I wish she would have a good, genuine guy. I agree with that. I absolutely agree. Dolores is bad to the bone, but Dolores picks the most trash of men. My God, they may you can have all the accolades in the world. Shout out to Nina. You can have all the accolades and accolades is how she says it, but you can have all the accolades in the world, and you can still be a trash human being. And Polly is trash of the trash. Ugh. Arnico said it wasn't a real friendship. I heard a video with Siggy. Oh, God. Siggy Flicker, that woman is a nutcase today. She is a staunch, who supporter. And I just look at her, I'm like, my God. Okay, but I kind of figured that friendship with Siggy and Margaret wasn't like a legit real friendship. So yeah, you guys let me know what you guys think. I want to know your opinions when it comes to the gift that Teresa sent. Do you guys believe that you guys on the line of what Melissa says? Or are you guys on the line of, oh, Teresa was just, well, hell, you can't. I'm sorry, but y'all can't say that Teresa had any good intention when she's in her interview saying that Louis is the one that told her to send it. I'm sorry, that's just Melissa's right. So Teresa fans, if you feel a way about that, it is what it is. I said what I said, and we can go ahead and keep it pushing because it is what it is. Like I really don't care. Now, you guys, let's get into the creme de la creme of this episode. And I do want to say one thing before I even talk about it because I've saw the talk on social media about Teresa's event and the fact that Jennifer and Danielle got into the fight with each other, and the fact that over on Real Housewives of Atlanta, Kenya got suspended. I don't want to let you guys know that yes, Kenya is suspended according to the blogs, but Danielle and Jennifer also got suspended for an entire week after this altercation. I just want you guys to know that. So for everybody out there who's trying to make this a black and white thing, it's not. Both of these women got suspended just like Kenya got suspended, right? So let's leave that right there. So Teresa is having a party, right? And so we see her out shopping, and I thought it was kind of interesting that she was out shopping with Jennifer, Dolores, and no Danielle, but she's supposed to be friends with Danielle. I'm like, okay, cool, right? But it's Jen and Dolores. So Dolores told Jennifer and Teresa that she's going into business with Polly, and I still think that that's a bad idea for her to go into business with him. I just think that that's a bad idea. But if Dolores wants to do it, then go for it. But I still think that that's a bad idea. So then Jennifer asked her about his divorce. And you could tell that Dolores was a little bit flustered and she probably may be tired of people asking you this question, right? And that's fine and whatnot. But what I will say is it felt like to me that Dolores was downplaying the whole situation. It's like, Dolores, you are too good for this man. Like, you can do better than him. And you guys remember, I told you guys a few episodes ago that according to the Twitter account Melissa's Old Nose, she's saying that the reason that Paulie won't divorce his wife is because they have a brothel that they can't figure out how to divide the assets, right? And this is all alleged. So I don't know if this is true or not. This is just what she said. And we can leave it at that. If you guys believe it, you believe it. If you don't, you don't. So they also talked about the housewarming party. And they talked about the card. And Jim's like, well, I know Bill told me what he did with the card. And so Teresa's like, well, what did he do with it? She said he didn't even read it, he just threw it in the fire. And that's when Teresa in her interview was talking about how petty her brother is. And this is again where she's repeating that, you know, when it comes, that Louis is the one who told her to send the card. So if Louis told you to send the card, then like I said once again, and you guys can agree or disagree, it is what it is. But if your husband had to be the one to tell you to send your brother a card, then there was no sincerity in that. Like you were just doing that just to appease somebody. I don't know who you were trying to appease, but you were trying to appease someone. So then Jennifer is talking about the situation with Danielle. And the more I sat and listened to Jennifer talk about this stuff with Danielle, I was like, it's something that's off with this. And I couldn't put my finger on it. And then I finally kind of think I did put my finger on it. To me, it feels like Jennifer never 100% liked Danielle. And so this Lena stuff was just the straw that broke the camel's back. And it was just like it gave her fuel and ammunition to then come after Danielle. These are my opinions. If the Jennifer and Teresa stands disagree, it is what it is. But then what made me kind of just had that Cheshire's cat smile on my face was when Jennifer and Teresa were talking about Jackie. I was like, I feel so because people have been, trying to come for me on Twitter about this whole situation with Jackie and Teresa. And I tweeted this last week. It's like it's so funny how Team Teresa and Jennifer, you guys hated and couldn't stand Jackie for so long. But now that Jackie is on Watch What Happens Live and work and podcast and wherever else, saying that Margaret did this, Margaret did that. Margaret asked me if said that if Louis comes back to the show for me not to come back to the show with her. And then on Watch What Happens Live, Jen Fessler says that Margaret never asked her that. And so I said, it's funny how Team Teresa, y'all hated that woman for years, but now y'all are so in love with Jennifer, not Jennifer, but Jack. Y'all so in love with Jackie, and everything that Jackie's saying it's got to be true because she was once friends with Margaret. But then you hear Teresa and Jennifer Aiden both say out of their mouths that they're using um, Jackie to expose Margaret. I was like, hey man, they finally said it. Like the writing was on the wall. Teresa still can't stand Jackie. The only reason why you are cozying up to Jackie is to for her to expose whatever you think she has on Margaret. And I was like, there we go. You finally said it. You finally said what I knew it was. Arnico says, why not like Danielle? Is Jennifer intimidated by a friendship between Teresa and Danielle? That's a good question because I don't know what it is with Jennifer, but I noticed in this episode it just felt like she just does not like Danielle for some reason. Because it's strange how they were so good, they were so like buddy buddy last season. And I'm wondering if some of this if some of this is because of what happened at the reunion last year when they were telling Danielle that both um Jack not, why do I keep want to say Jackie? Jennifer and Teresa set her up. I feel like I feel like that's part of what it is. But you guys can let me know what you think because it's just so weird how it's like a big flip because it cannot be this Lena stuff. It cannot be this Lena stuff because Lena didn't even seem that affected or hurt by the stuff that Jackie, not Jennifer, wanted her to say at that party. And I got where Jennifer was coming from with the whole elitist stuff. Like I don't like people who are elitist either. But when Danielle explained it, that they were, that there were other people who were in the VIP, and she just wanted the housewives in the VIP. I understood that. So I'm just not understanding what I don't understand what the issue is when it comes to Jennifer. But hey, it is what it is. Now, another thing that I want to say, and you guys may agree or disagree, and it is what it is. But I have a problem with Gia being involved in the conversations about the women, because the minute that Margaret or Rachel or any of the other women say anything about Gia, Teresa is gonna flip her fucking lid and be ready to fight somebody. So the best thing is for Gia to stay out of it. Because the same way that Kim on Real Housewives of Atlanta was so mad at Kenya for talking about Brielle, but Brielle came for for Kenya, like just like you're gonna either have they have to be one of the two. Either they're gonna be a child or they're gonna be a grown ass adult. And I want Gia to, if Teresa gonna say don't talk about my kid, then tell your daughter to mind her business, stay out of grown folks' business. That's my personal opinion. You guys can agree or disagree. It is what it is. Um, Art Nicole says so. Jennifer still harbors feelings about Marge exposing. That's what I think it is. That is what I think it is when it comes to Jennifer. Because I was like, you and Margaret have kind of made amends with each other, but that's what I'm starting to think it is. That Jennifer still harbors the ill feelings for Marge exposing Bill, and Teresa's still mad at Jackie about. I don't, I don't know what it is about Teresa still having issues with Jackie, and that whole analogy that she used about Gia. Was the analogy, did I hate the analogy that Jackie used? I did. I thought it was wrong. But girl, she didn't, it ain't like she said the girl actually did the stuff, Teresa. But who was it that mentioned it to Teresa? It was Dolores, that Dolores mentioned the analogy when he was talking about himself. And she said, whenever I see him again, I'm gonna tell him to keep my daughter's name out of his mouth. Well, Teresa, like I just said a few minutes ago, your daughter does get involved in this stuff, so you might want to tell your daughter to mind her business, stay out of grown folks' business, and go be in the kids' business, right? Arnico says Gia needs to go be with the other children. Exactly. That is my thing with Gia. If Gia can sit there and talk about Margaret, her aunt Melissa, and Rachel, then Teresa, when they talk about your daughter, don't get in your feelings. That's all I got to say when it comes to that. You guys can agree or disagree. Honestly, I don't care about that part because it's the truth. You can agree or disagree with that one, but it is the truth. If she's gonna be treated like an adult, and if she wants to be treated like an adult, talking about adult things, then they can talk about her. She's free game. She ain't no child no more. So we get to the party, right? Jen Fessler, you are a fake friend. You're fake as hell. Because I'm sorry, there is no way, even if I'm on the outs with any of my friends, I don't care. We could be, throwing daggers at each other right about now. But that's still gonna be, I'm gonna treat it as if this is just a little rift in our relationship, and we'll be friends again soon, right? So I'm not gonna sit around and listen to people talk bad about my friend, because Jackie was talking about Margaret, Jennifer was talking about Margaret, and Teresa was talking about Margaret. And what is Jen Fessler doing? She sat there for a good few minutes, and then she finally walked away. I was like, girl, it doesn't help you because they've been talking about Margaret since you've been standing there. So you walking away in this particular moment doesn't make you look any better. Like, I don't see it for her. Then she lost me when Jennifer and Teresa were talking about when they went to Tulum for Teresa's 50th birthday. And Teresa was like, yeah, if you continue to hang out with me, you may be able to go. And then Jen Fessler gonna say, Margaret who? Margaret, you know what though? Like I just said earlier in the review, I kind of feel like Jen Fessler is Margaret's karma on this show. Because as I said, now granted, they are real friends, but The same thing that Jen Fessler is kind of doing. I feel like Margaret did it with Siggy. Margaret did it with Danielle Staub. So karma, I feel like, is coming back to bite Margaret in the behind. So you better, hey, let me know what you guys think. So after that, we see as so they were basically trying to tell Jackie that she needs to go talk to Dolores because you know the crazy thing with Jackie is instead of taking ownership for what she said, you want to sit here and say, well, Margaret does this and Margaret does that behind y'all's back. Do I believe that Margaret does some things behind the scenes? Absolutely, right? But as Dolores told you last week, she's smart enough not to put it in writing. You put it in a text message. So Margaret got you beat. And it is what it is, right? So Jackie went to go have the conversation with Dolores. And instead of her saying, you know what, yeah, I was mad about the picture thing, which I still think that that is so childish and stupid, Jackie. You were mad because Dolores did not tag you in a picture on Instagram. Girl, grow up. Please grow up, Jackie. That is childish as hell that you would be mad about a picture on Instagram. Girl, are you 10 years old, 15? Because you're acting like a teenager if you're mad about something so stupid and minuscule. Like, girl, get a backbone. Please do something. Like, actually, Jackie, please go away from me with that because that makes absolutely no sense to me that you would be mad about not being tagged in a photo on Instagram. But she went over there to talk to Dolores. And while she's talking to Dolores, she's doing everything but apologize to Dolores. She's talking about how she felt. She's talking about how Margaret is this and Margaret is that. And I'm like, girl, what are you talking about? Just say, you know what? Yeah, it was janky what I said. I do apologize for calling you a slob and leave it at that. But you say, oh, well, Margaret vents to me, Margaret vents to me about this and about that. Jackie, just apologize. Arnico says, yeah, because anytime somebody would tell Melissa that Marge bad about her, there's never proof. All you get is Marge denying it. Exactly. Exactly. You can say whatever you want to say about Margaret, but she's very smart. And if the things that they are saying about her is true, she's smart and calculating. Like she's very calculating because you can't, because even everything that they've said that Margaret has said about Melissa, nobody's been able to prove it. Nobody's been able to prove it. And the thing is, the things that people say that Margaret says, it comes out of someone else's mouth and not Margaret's mouth. Like last season, the stuff about Melissa cheating on Joe, they said that Margaret is the one that said it. But who are the two people who repeated it? Teresa and Jennifer. But it came from Margaret. Exactly. So what I also found kind of funny in this episode is the fact that the Teresa fans love to say that Teresa doesn't say Melissa's name, baby. She said it more than once in this episode and in this particular scene because she was talking to Danielle and she was telling Danielle that she feels as if Margaret, Melissa, and Rachel are in her ear. Well, Teresa, I want to say something to you. Hello, Pot. My name is Kettle because you're the same thing that you're accusing Melissa and Margaret of doing to Danielle. You're doing it with Jackie. Like you're doing that with Jackie. You're in Jackie's ear trying to, make Jackie feel like Margaret is coming after her so that she can go and spill all the tea about Margaret. So, Teresa, you're a hypocrite. Like, please miss me with the BS. You're a hypocrite. Like, let's be real with each other. What you're doing to Jackie is the same thing that you're accusing Melissa and Margaret of doing. Once again, I'm going to say it again. If Margaret is doing that, she's smart. You ain't saw it on camera. But with Jackie, we see it on camera with you. Like for people to love her so much, she is like y'all love to say she is this and this and that, the queen and all this kind of stuff. But your queen is a court jester and a dunce. Like she acts like a dunce. But hey, whatever. So then Danielle and Jennifer were talking, right? And I will point out that when it was Teresa, Jen, and Dolores together, and Jennifer brought up this whole step and repeat with Danielle and Aiden plastic surgery not being on it. Dolores didn't seem like she really cared. And here's the thing I will say. If you donated money or anything to it, then yes, I would expect your name to be on there. But just because you showed up to the woman's event, you mean to tell me that she's supposed to put your name, your husband's business, not yours, but your husband's business on the step and repeat? Go to hell, respectfully, Jennifer. Like I said, at this point, this is really at the point of the episode where I was really starting to say, okay, the issue is Jennifer doesn't like Danielle, and I don't believe Jennifer ever liked Danielle. I think Jennifer only looked at Danielle as an ally going against Margaret and Melissa. That's what I feel. And again, you guys can agree or disagree, but let's be respectful, you guys, also, by the way. So then we get into this, weird conversation about um, Danielle's hairstylist, who is also, I believe, Dolores' hairstylist, right? So now I'm piecing together what is being said because I guess the hairstylist had reached out to Jennifer because I guess she had a hairline that she was coming up with, and so I guess she was getting ready to do her promotional photo shoot. So she invited them down. Now Jennifer says that Danielle reached out to her talking about they weren't getting paid for it. Danielle says that's not what the conversation was. Danielle says that she reached out to Jennifer to let her know, like, hey, this is for her hairline. Just want to give you a heads up because, I know that if I was doing this for, doing someone else's hairline photo shoot, that my hair people would be upset with me. But again, Jennifer is saying that's not what it was. You were making this all about money. And Danielle is saying, she rides, she goes hard for her people. She rides for her people, right? And so I do want to point this out because I've saw this on social media because people are trying to defend Jennifer's actions. And I'm gonna say this right here: there's no defending Jennifer's actions, what she did, right? So Jennifer and Danielle are both going back and forth with each other. They're both in each other's faces, right? Now, granted, Danielle is doing a lot of cussing, and the hands are activated, right? And so at one point, Danielle had kind of walked away, but then she came back up and she's like, "You're dirty. You're dirty." And then she called uh actually no, after that, Jennifer was telling her to calm down, but then Danielle called her a what did Danielle call her? A dirt bag. So when she called her a dirt bag, Jennifer is right in front of Danielle and she said, "You're a dirt bag," and it sounded off when she pushed her, like it was a hard ass push. And so she pushed Danielle, and Danielle just came with the right hook and boom, hit Jennifer smack dead in the face. I was like, God damn, I know I know Jennifer's face hurt because that was a good, she has great reflexes, by the way. I will say that Danielle has great reflexes because when she pushed her, boom, she hit her. I was like, oh crap. Now, Teresa's over here saying that she didn't see what happened, but I'm like, but you're standing right here in front of them. How in the hell did you not see Jennifer push her? Then Jennifer is saying, well, she was in my face, so I may have pushed her. Jennifer, shut up. Now, what really got me is when Danielle went in that house and Bill was in there sitting down eating his food, and Danielle was like, "Your wife's a bitch." She kept saying she's a bitch, and she says, "You when you go to sleep at night, you sleeping with the devil." I was like, "Well, let Bill know how you really feel." But you guys know how I feel when it comes to Bill. That Bill don't care for that woman at all. Whew. It was a good episode. Now everybody was like, everybody thought that the fight was going to be more than what it was. I kind of didn't. I also do want to point out something else before I get off of here, you guys, because I always, when it comes to Housewives, people love to talk about how many fights Potomac has, how many fights Atlanta has had. But you guys, the most violent franchise is Jersey. These people have been fighting since the beginning of the show. Jersey has the most fights out of all the Housewives, but everybody loves to sit and talk about Atlanta and Potomac when it comes to the fights, but Jersey has the most. But yeah, you guys, that was the episode. Now, if anybody out there knows, please let me know in the comment section. How many episodes do we have this season? Because they haven't shown the mid-season trailer yet. So I'm wondering how many more episodes of this season we have, and we're already on episode 8. Are they not gonna give us a mid-season trailer? Because I mean, we don't have a reunion. There's no reunion. There's no cast trip. You know what, Bravo? I'm gonna say this here, and we're gonna leave it at that. This cast actually can be I think y'all can do what y'all did to New York. Get us a brand new cast. Don't bring, as much as I do like certain people on this cast, don't bring any of these people back. I think it's time to scrap Jersey. I think it's time we scrap Jersey. I really do. I don't want y'all to do the Real Housewives of Miami reboot, and I don't want y'all to do the Atlanta Housewives reboot. I want y'all to do the New York Housewives reboot. Give us a brand new batch of women. What I will say, if they were to bring anybody back from this cast, I wouldn't be upset if I saw Danielle and Rachel come back. These are my opinions. You guys can agree or disagree with that. But it is what it is. That was the episode. I want you guys to tell me your thoughts, your opinions in the comment section, you guys. And I will get off of here. I will see you guys again for the Real Housewives of Dubai. And I'll do that on Wednesday afternoon sometime. Since I could go live after the episode tomorrow, but I don't know. We'll see how I feel about the episode. But yeah, you guys, be sure to like the video. You guys subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, and also share the video. And until the next time, you guys stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Wash your hands. Be blessed. And I will see you guys in the next one. Can't believe that this video was almost 40 minutes, but I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.